Hey guys, Matt here with MTG Ownage, and I wanted to bring up a little concept today, or a topic today, that I think is pretty important. How do you win more Commander games? Alright, so let's analyze a few things here, and I have a few points. Alright, so the number one thing here, if you want to win more Commander games. But I guess before I say the number one thing, it's important to set your expectations correctly, I think. Now, in my own theory, and this is kind of just an obvious statistical thing, you usually play Commander with 4 players, right? And everybody should, in theory, if you're playing somewhat equal decks and you're around equal play level, of course it's not perfect, you should have about a 1 in 4 chance of winning, because someone's going to win every game, and if you can win 25%, that's on par. That means you're doing great. That means you're doing fine. If you win more than that, there might be a scenario where maybe you're a better player, or maybe your decks are a little stronger than everybody else's, or something like that. We just want a benchmark number. We want to win approximately 1 in 4 games to be satisfied. If you're winning half of the games and you're still upset, then your expectations are misaligned. That's my opinion. Maybe you're such a competitive player that you want well over 25, but I feel like 25% is the starting point. That's the happy medium. So the initial main point here is that you want to have your expectations set correctly, or no matter what, you're going to be disappointed. And that's just kind of a standard of expectations, nothing even really to do with Magic. Okay, so you've thought about that, you've maybe corrected expectations, but you still want to win more games. So first consider, are you below the 25% mark? If so, you need to work on things. It's really just that simple when it comes down to it. You need to work on your decks. You need to work on how you're playing. You need to make sure you understand the sequencing of the game. And just a lot of things like that. And there's plenty of tutorials and stuff like that out there all over the place. You can find them. You can dig in. You could ask someone you know that's an experienced player to teach you more. That can make a pretty big difference. Win conditions in your deck are also very important. So when I say beef up your deck, that's kind of what I mean. Sure, you can play stronger cards and that will help. But to get the W, you do need to be the last man standing. It really depends on your play group, how you want to do this, and how competitive you want to get. And of course, there are plenty of deck lists out there if you need some initial help. But I would highly advise building your own deck, because you get some valuable experience there. But there's nothing wrong with figuring out why a deck that may be listed as competitive is competitive, because there are definitely things to learn and take away from that. But the game is really designed for you to build your own deck with your own personality. There's so many cards. This is such a large topic that it needs a video on its own, of course, or maybe even several. So let's move on to the next topic, and that is the politics of Commander. One thing that's important about this game is deciding why you're playing. And it's a game. Generally there's no prizes, unless you're in some sort of special tournament format, or maybe your group does something with prizes. But generally, no, it's just for fun. So you want to have fun. And a big part of that is who you're playing with and how everybody interacts with each other. Now, this also goes towards the winning, losing, because there are things that will influence these politics. Sure, you're going to have a baseline human to human interaction with each other, but also there is the element that your deck is going to add to this once you're in game. It is no secret that if you're playing some sort of deck that is designed to lock everybody else down as its win condition, people are not going to like you out of the gate. They're going to want to get rid of you. They're going to want to shut off your combos. Basically, they want to actually play. Now, that sounds weird, right? You're sitting down to play and they want to actually play. So the basic point here is, if you're playing a deck that in general says you're not allowed to play, people tend to dislike that. because it defeats the purpose of the game in a lot of ways. Now that's my own hot take on the subject and about why people feel that way. Maybe you have more opinions. Feel free to leave them down below. But I think it's really relevant. The best way to combat this, that the Commander Committee and people of the internet and everything have come up with, is what's called Rule Zero. And Rule Zero basically means to have a conversation about the type of game you're about to play right now. So people need to declare basically how their deck works. Because if one person's playing a beatdown deck, and the next person's playing hard lock, control, stasis, and the next person's playing storm, and the next person's playing some sort of infinite win con, or another win con that goes off real fast. Let's throw in another player, a fifth player on this one, that is, say, just trying out a new deck that isn't necessarily that refined, and he doesn't even know if he has any proper win cons in it. Some of those people are going to be pretty miserable that game, and also basically stand no chance of winning. So the people with the way stronger decks are just basically going to almost win by default unless they really mess something up. You guys probably get the point. If you need more info on the Rule Zero, do some searches on it. There's a lot of good discussions on Reddit and on the internet about Rule Zero. There's a reason it's a thing. I'll just say a last thing here, and that is about the game in general. Alright, look, Magic's a really interesting game. The cards are worth a ton. The collectors are very serious. And sometimes people take things very personally. There's a lot of human-to-human interaction that happens between nerds that don't necessarily get a whole lot of human-to-human interaction. And I realize how that sounds, but you've probably seen it time and time again too. So there's always going to be a situation where any given person is going to feel themselves kind of get flared up a little bit. Maybe someone did something that really rubbed you the wrong way. Maybe they targeted your creature when you were just about to win the game and it really messed up your plan and you don't know why they would target you. And you know, stuff like that can really like cause some boiling blood between people. Now everybody's different. Everybody handles situations differently, but it's going to happen. So the thing is, it's just really important for everybody to sort of have the understanding that, hey, we're gonna talk about things and we're gonna be cool, and if stuff's gonna happen, things are gonna get blown up, it's gonna get chaotic, we're gonna get mad at each other. Now, so I guess what I do here, I don't know the perfect answer to this. I think it's just be kind and understanding as much as you can of other people, and try to realize how you're coming off if you feel like you might be the antagonizer or whatever. Well, my way of dealing with this is I keep it localized to the game. If someone blows up your creature unfairly and you don't know why they would target it and stuff like that, alright, you just hold that in your political mind for this game and maybe think, alright, what can I do to pull out of this situation and maybe get this player on my side? You know, you really gotta use some politics, because if you just make them more mad, they're just going to target you more, right? You don't want that. So maybe you say, hey, look, I've only got 2 cards in my hand. I'm out of gas here. Maybe we can work together a little bit. And 90% of people will be like, okay, you know? So as opposed to maybe another reaction where you kind of get mad and be like, why? And then everybody's like on edge and the night's kind of ruined or whatever. That always stinks. You don't want that. Keep saying right like you guys can respond. You can in the comments. Alright, well that's all I got for you guys. Hope these make sense. Hope this talk helps someone. I guess I'm just going to put it out there. Don't really know what else to do at this point. Consider supporting the channel any way you feel like. It would make a big difference. Alright, peace out.